You're listening to the Neighborhood Bulldog, where the porch light's always on and the maroon runs deep. I'm Scott Neighbors, and this is your home for real Mississippi State sports talk. Around here, we don't chase headlines. We break down the wins, the losses, the culture, and what it really means to be a Bulldog. If it matters in Starkville, it matters here. So pull up a chair, grab a drink, and welcome to the neighborhood. Hail State. Welcome back to the Neighborhood Bulldog. Thank you for joining us tonight, where we will recap a huge weekend in Mississippi State athletics once again, starting with baseball. Mississippi State baseball sweeps Lipscomb to move to 14-2 on the season, including one of the best offensive performances we will ever see at Duty Noble Field on Saturday morning. Men's basketball gets embarrassed on their home court to end the regular season and on senior day. Women's basketball, Sam Purcell and the ladies, just awaiting their fate for Selection Sunday, which will take place on March the 15th. Softball team sweeps the Jaguar Classic to move to 24-2 on the year. And then we've got some bad news surrounding the football team as we get ready to head into spring practice. Starting with baseball, Mississippi State sweeps Lipscomb 8-3 on Thursday night, 9-4 on Friday night, and then 26-0 in 7 innings on Saturday morning. The offense, one of the best days we will ever see. We're going to dive into each game. Thursday night, weather caused the series to be moved up from Friday, Saturday, Sunday to Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Mississippi State starts off the series with an 8-3 win Friday night. It was a pretty even ball game throughout, although it got away from Lipscomb late. Alexander Linus gave us fits from the mound, going 5 innings pitched, 6 hits, 3 earned runs, had no walks in 5 innings, and 4 Ks. Really solid performance from the Lipscomb Friday night starter there on Thursday night. Ryan McPherson also had a good game for Mississippi State. Might be one of his best of the season so far. 6 innings, 5 hits, just 1 run, just 1 walk to 8 Ks. Both teams tied for hits on the night, 12 and 12, but it was 3 that stood out for Mississippi State at the plate that caused the game to break open for us. Drew Wires, huge weekend from him, as you'll see, going 2 for 5 with 2 runs, 2 RBIs, and those 2 hits for him were 2 home runs. Ryder Woodson continues to swing a hot bat, going 2 for 4, 1 run, 1 RBI. He also had a home run. And then Mr. Draft, Mr. All-American, Ace Reese, 3 for 4 with 1 run on Thursday night. It's actually a pretty tight game for the most part until the middle innings. No one scored a run until Lipscomb actually took a 1-0 lead in the 6th inning. In the bottom of the 6th inning, Mississippi State took the lead and never looked back, broke it open, and got the win 8-3 there. Moving into Friday night, Mississippi State gets that win 9-4. Tomas Valinkis on the mound, again, starting to get some national hype around him as one of the top college lefties as a pitcher in the country. Tomas Valinkis, 4 innings, 4 hits, 2 earned runs, 2 walks, and 6 Ks on the night for him. Tyler Pitzer actually came in and got the win there, going 2 innings with 1 hit and 4 Ks. And the player of the night by far, Noah Sullivan, 4 for 5, 2 runs, 4 RBIs, including a home run there for Noah Sullivan. Moving into Saturday, game starts at 10 a.m. first pitch. Very early start to get the game in before the rain. And if you thought that it would take the Bulldogs a while to wake up, boy, were you wrong. They came to the park and they were ready to roll, winning 26-0 in 7 innings. One of the best offensive outputs we have ever seen and may ever see at Duty Noble Field. We had 20 hits to Lipscomb's 1. Duke Stone getting the start there at 4 innings pitched, no hits, no runs, no walks in 6 Ks. Duke Stone now 3-0 on the year as a pitcher for us, and it looks like he might be solidifying that Sunday starter role that he took from Charlie Foster earlier in the season there. But again, this was all about offense. Drew Wires, 3 for 3, 3 runs, 2 RBIs. Ace Reese, 2 for 3, 2 runs, 3 RBIs. And again, monster game from Noah Sullivan, showing the leadership there from the senior. 3 for 4, 2 runs, 6 RBIs, and 2 home runs there on Saturday as the Dogs take it 26-0 and finish off the sweep of the Lipscomb Bisons. The broadcast on Thursday night made it clear that Bisons is actually the correct plural term, which was surprising to me. But they take the series, get the sweep from Lipscomb. They did what they should have done. Saturday was impressive, but again, it's kind of what you expect an elite baseball team to do. 26-0 is a lot, even if you are elite playing a subpar opponent. But again, at the end of the day, that's what Mississippi State's supposed to do. They went out and they did it, and they looked good doing it as well. Bulldogs are back in action tonight as you're listening on Tuesday night as they will face Tulane in Biloxi. Hope to have a packed out crowd. It's usually packed at the stadium across from the Beau Rivage. Tulane comes into the game not having a great year. And so Mississippi State, I expect them to handle that. We've got Charlie Foster starting on the mound for that game. And we've got some new uniforms, the shades of gray unis, and Mississippi State actually pairing those jerseys with a gray hat that I think looks absolutely incredible. I'm going to have to get me one of those hats. Hopefully a tune-up game before the big one. Mississippi State traveling to Arkansas in Fayetteville to open up SEC play Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Of course, Arkansas just splitting the series with Stetson 2-2 as they finished game 4 of that series on Monday. So Arkansas having some ups and downs so far this year as well. So we will see what happens. I really like the Bulldogs' chances, although winning in Fayetteville is not something the Bulldogs usually do very well, if at all, in just about any sport. So I think they might get them this year, but we will have a preview for that on Wednesday night. I hope you'll join us back for that. Moving on into men's basketball, a huge Saturday opportunity for the men's basketball team. Of course, we have not really spent a whole lot of time talking about the men's basketball team because, well, to be honest, they've been frankly embarrassing for most of the season now. A losing year in year 4 of Chris Jans. Losing overall record, a losing conference record. And not only have you lost more games than you've won, the games you've lost were largely non-competitive. The Auburn win that State had, probably their best win of the year. It took Josh Hubbard scoring 46 points, being 1 point away from tying the all-time program record. And then you blow a 17-point lead and you win by a miracle in the last minute 5 of that game. So your star player has a career game, a historic game for your program, and it still was barely enough to get you the win. You even had to come back to get the win, even with that historic performance. And we've seen that time and time again from the men's basketball team this season. There is just nobody to help out Josh Hubbard whatsoever. It's embarrassing. It falls on the shoulders of the head coach. Chris Jans botched the portal. He botched the tie-in of talent evaluations, and it's just simply got to be better. And it's not what you expect a head coach in his 4th year to put on the floor day in and day out. but he just had no other options. The talent evals were just that bad. But getting to Saturday, Mississippi State falls to 13-18 overall, 5-13 in conference with a loss to Georgia in Humphrey Coliseum on senior day, and you lose 102-96. We out-rebounded Georgia. We had a higher percentage of field goals than Georgia, and we still lost the game. That is extremely hard to do. Josh Hubbard, get this, 42 points from Josh Hubbard there on senior day, still not enough to win the ball game. And that is just utterly pathetic if you're a Mississippi State Bulldog basketball fan. Your star player, you just saw us blow a lead when he scores 46 points, and now he scores 42 points on senior day at home, and you can't muster any energy or any willpower to go win the ball game. And that's just what we've seen from him all year. So huge game from Josh Hubbard once again, but we say the same thing after every game, guys. Big game from Josh Hubbard. He had no help. We lose the game. It's a tale as old as time this season. So Mississippi State men's basketball are now going to move on to the SEC tournament, where they are going to face Auburn as the number 13 seed in the conference, and that game is going to be Wednesday at 2 p.m. And so we will see Auburn, just a dismal end of the season for them as well. It took everything that we had to beat them. So the Bulldogs' only chance to make the postseason past this is to win the SEC tournament. And I'll be honest, even if they win the SEC tournament, if I'm on the committee, it's going to be hard. I mean, you have to put them in, but no one's going to like it if they were to win the tournament. But is there even an ounce of anyone thinking that this basketball team has the talent or the energy or the willpower to go on a run and win the SEC tournament? I don't. I just have no hope whatsoever that will happen. So I think that Chris Jans and staff need to get started very quickly on recruiting the portal for next season. And yes, he's had 3 straight NCAA tournament appearances. This is year 4. Should have been better, and it wasn't. If he has another year where the talent evals do not stack up, we may be looking for a new head coach next season. Moving to women's basketball, they finished their season last week in the SEC tournament with a loss to Florida. Again, they kind of had a rocky finish to the regular season as well, but they front-loaded their season, did really well early on, stacked the wins, and right now they are looking to be the next 4 out, and they are currently ranked around 73rd according to ESPN bracketology for the women's team. So we will find out their fate on Selection Sunday on March the 15th. And so I hope the ladies can make it and sneak into the NCAA, but regardless, they will have a solid NIT bid if they do not quite make it to the NCAA tournament. So we'll see what happens with Sam Purcell and the ladies. One thing Sam Purcell does is recruit, and he has been hitting the road hard, got some great commits lined up. And so I'm not worried about women's basketball. I think they could be even better next season. But you'd like to see both of our basketball programs not on the bubble. You'd like to see them squarely in the tournament. So we'll see what happens on Selection Sunday for the women there. Softball, Samantha Ricketts and the softball team absolutely cruising this season so far, as they have achieved their highest ranking ever at number 12. They sweep the Jaguar Classic this weekend, beating New Mexico 1-0 and South Alabama 3-0 on Friday. They beat New Mexico 4-0 and Samford 9-1 on Saturday, and then they take the win to finish out the sweep of the weekend against South Alabama 4-2 on Sunday. So on Tuesday, tonight, as you're listening, Mississippi State will host a doubleheader versus Southeast Missouri. And then again, one of the biggest weekends on the diamond for the girls there, first SEC series this upcoming weekend versus the number one team in the country, the Tennessee Volunteers, to start SEC play. We get to host them in Starkville at News Park Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So if you can make it out, I would highly encourage you to make it out to watch us play the number one team in the country there. Now, we'll see what happens, but overall, Mississippi State softball is 23-49 versus Tennessee softball all time. We won in Knoxville last year, one of the three games. Um, we're just 3-7 in the last 10 matchups, but this is the highest ranked matchup between the two softball programs. So this ain't like the past. Tennessee's going to have to come in and show why they're number one, and Mississippi State may take it to them. And I'll be very excited to watch that happen throughout the weekend. Finishing off tonight with some football news. Mississippi State football, if you're a football fan, I think we are looking for any ounce of hope that we can possibly find as we head into next season. And hope is one of the most important commodities in the world. And there has not been a lot of it surrounding our football program since the unfortunate passing of Coach Mike Leach. Jeff Lebby, 2-10 in year one, did not have a good year this past year. Should have won several games, but blew the opportunities to do that, namely against Texas, Tennessee, almost blew the Arizona State game. But like we said at the end of the season, if we don't win that Arizona State game, which took a defender tripping while trying to keep up on a crossing route with Brennan Thompson, who is now the fastest NFL 40 time, then our season would have been absolutely putrid, absolutely horrible. Winning that Arizona State game completely changed the outlook of our season, even with the games we ended up losing. And even still, I feel like Jeff Lebby got kind of a pass in year one because Blake Shapen got hurt. And you largely played the majority of your season with true freshman quarterback Michael Van Buren. So any program in the country would not hold that against their head coach. Moving into year two of Jeff Lebby, you had to have some improvement there. You have Blake Shapen back. You have some veterans around him. You have some skill players around him. This was the year, get Kamario Taylor some time behind Blake Shapen, let him learn, and then year three, boom, we can take off. Well, what happened? For the most part, Blake Shapen was terrible. Whether that's his fault, which I think a lot of it was, or whether it was the offensive line's fault, which a lot of it was. Both things can be true. Blake Shapen was a bad quarterback, and our offensive line didn't protect him long enough and give him time to make the reads. Some quarterbacks need more time. Blake Shapen's one of those quarterbacks. He could not make the reads and the progressions in the time that the offensive line gave him, and it is what it is. If you watched our football team, obviously the defense was terrible. We know that, but they were a little better this year. The offense was supposed to be the one that carried the team this year, and they didn't do it. Time and time again, the offensive line got embarrassed from the first play to the last play of every game this year. And all season long, the only thing that was said was, moving into year three, Jeff Lebby and Phil Loadholt, the offensive line coach, have to go get some offensive linemen, mainly a left tackle, because you have a generational player in Kamario Taylor, and you have to do whatever it takes to make sure he is protected and that he gets the time that he needs to make the reads, whether to pass, run, all that. He is a better athlete and will be one of the best quarterbacks and best players we've ever had at Mississippi State, but only if we don't waste it. And with the news we got that Brandon Snee who Mississippi State signed from UAB as our big transfer left tackle, is now ineligible for the 2026 football season. The media reported that when they signed Snee from UAB, he played Division II and he thought he had eligibility left. Great. The NCAA goes back and retroactively applies a current rule to his playing days at Division II, which ultimately rules him ineligible. That is a very unfortunate turn of events for Jeff Lebby, Phil Loadholt, and our football program. But at the same time, you are getting paid millions to run an SEC football program. You cannot, under any circumstances, even let there be a hint of the main guy that you go get being ruled ineligible. If there was even an inkling that he could be ruled ineligible and you still went and signed him, then that is a failure on our coaching staff, and they should be held accountable for that. You tried to go all in with Jordan Seaton, and ultimately Jordan Seaton chose Lane Kiffin and LSU. It is what it is. Sometimes kids just want to play where they can play meaningful football games. That's on Jeff Lebby too. You say, well, he just wants to go play for a championship program where they'll play in big games. If Jeff Lebby was a better coach, we'd play in bigger games that mean something. Right now, we're just hoping we don't get beat by 4 touchdowns every time we touch the field. So you miss out on Jordan Seaton, who you were supposedly giving a blank check to, and then you go throw in and get Brandon Snee, who's now ineligible. So you got nobody. Jeff Lebby and Phil Loadholt had one job this offseason, and that was to get a All-American, top-of-the-line left tackle and serviceable offensive lineman to go with him. And they ultimately, regardless of how we got there, we're still there. You got nobody worth anything. So what are you going to do when Kamario Taylor is running for his life the entire game all year next year? Are we going to watch that? Are we going to put up with that? Did y'all watch the bowl game? Because that's what happened, and that's what that looks like. Now, thankfully, Jeff Lebby did go out and hire Zach Arnett to come back and run our defense. I don't think anybody has any questions on our defense. They got a good portal haul. They got some good signees. You've got an experienced defensive coordinator, and we know not only that he is a good defensive coordinator, he's done it here before. Forget Zach Arnett, who got thrown into the fire as a first-time head coach, who was way in over his head and drowning from the first second. Zach Arnett, the defensive coordinator under Mike Leach, is a huge reason why we had success under Mike Leach. It wasn't all the offense under Mike Leach, I can tell you that. So we at least have him back. The defense is going to carry this team next year. But the problem is, if Camario's running for his life, is 14 to 17 points per game, is that enough to win 6 ball games? Is it enough to win 4 ball games? Because you go 4-8 again, and now you're Jeff Lebby sitting there with what, 2 SEC wins in 3 years? 3 SEC wins in 3 years? And another losing record? You're going to be looking for a new head coach. No ifs, ands, buts about it. There is too much money involved to be at the end of year 3 and you have not even won 5 SEC ball games. It cannot happen. I love Jeff Lebby. He's a great guy. Super nice guy. I like him a lot. I think he does have a good offensive mind, but being a good offensive mind doesn't mean you know how to run an entire program. And right now, they've got no options at offensive line. I don't know what they're going to do, and I am extremely worried as we head into spring practice and we head into the fall. I mean, you already don't have anybody on that offensive line, and then my goodness, if you get an injury, I mean, it's over with. And a lot of people think it's over with right now as it stands because you didn't do the one thing that you had to do. So we will see what happens with the football team as we go through spring practice, who's standing out. Let's hope Camario is the athlete that we think he is, and let's hope the defense is even better than we thought they would be, because that's what I feel is our only chance at success next season. We're going to have to overperform pretty much across the board to even have a remote chance of being watchable. I mean, it just is what it is. So that wraps up our weekend in Mississippi State sports. I hope you'll watch the softball team tonight. I hope you'll watch the baseball team tonight as they take on Tulane. And then men's basketball, let's see what they can do in the SEC tournament. And then we'll go into another huge weekend with softball hosting the number one team in the country and Mississippi State with the first SEC series in Fayetteville, Arkansas. The SEC in baseball is not what we thought it would be. You have a lot of teams that looked great on paper that are getting just trampled by these mid-major teams. You got Sacramento State winning the series at LSU. You've got Wright State beating Tennessee on one of the games. You've got Stetson splitting with Arkansas. You've got High Point taking the series from the Florida Gators in Gainesville. Just a wacky, wacky baseball season so far, and I bet it gets even crazier once conference play starts. So hope you'll join us again for our next episode as we preview the big weekend coming up. Thank you for joining the neighborhood. Like and subscribe. Hail State.